to the material world, the further displaced you are, the bigger the gap is with you. And so this is my problem here, is that here's what I see with this. Sorry, I'll give you my broad overview. All that you're actually doing is using a bunch of pagan mysticism to try to advance the idea, and it.
Okay. In this clip, Andrew Wilson is going to dismantle this, I guess, some sort of sorceress, feminist, pagan mysticism loving feminist about the roles between men and women and who's leading in these roles. You know, Andrew Wilson, when Andrew Wilson
is pagan mysticism, yeah.
When Andrew Wilson starts to debate, Andrew Wilson does not take any prisoners. And with this feminist, Andrew Wilson will not take any prisoners. Andrew Wilson will demolish her. Andrew Wilson will obliterate this feminist, because a lot of these women are really talking, you know, and I read the comments on this channel. Like, I don't know if it's bots or what, bro. Like, I'm really a chill person, but whatever. Like, I am real, you know. It's just funny. I'm just a real person, right? You know, so, and I'll keep it real as a woman and tell you that there are a lot of women who are talking just to hear themselves talk. Maybe some people will say that's me. I personally don't think so, because I keep it more real about things, but whatever, you know, it doesn't matter. We are here to watch Andrew Wilson pretty much drag this woman by her, you know, pretty blonde hair. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the clips.
Yes, and all you're trying to do is advance the idea that women don't have any accountability for their actions, and rather, men, when they become displaced from whatever you think their ontological form of masculinity is, that's the thing which displaces women, and women themselves have no accountability. If that's the case, if women have no accountability except to that which men decide is manly, then I don't even see an argument for enslaving all women. Like, what would even be the argument there? They would be completely dependent on whatever we decide, or else they're not going to be full or whole or whatever, right?
Okay, so I'm not saying that women don't have accountability. Obviously, on an individual, personal level, we all have accountability for our actions and choices. But when it comes to, you know, agency, I mean, like, women do have that, but it's reactive. Women expand into whatever vessel men create, but they can't design the new vessel. They don't create the paradigm, they respond to it. So if you want different women, you have to be different men. There's just no other way. So
why would that would still work in reverse? If you want different men, you got to be different women. It's the same exact argument.
Because men are not embodying the passive principle.
Right. So all you're saying is that because women are the way they fucking are, you men got to change. That's your whole argument. Your whole argument, when it's reduced, is, look, women's nature is that they're fucked up. And so you as men need to change so that women, right, will actually conform to whatever the changes are that you make. You're basically saying that women's entire agency, their entirety of their agency and their fullness and wholeness is based 100% dependent upon how men behave. Now, how is that not the ultimate displacement of accountability? I have no idea, but that's exactly what it is. I would even argue some of these things which you didn't include in feminine virtue or being of woman, right? That I would say have a lot more to do with womanhood than just the idea of material pursuits, or the fact that them being in the stage of material pursuit, even if it's bad for them, is not as catastrophic as if men are. What I don't understand here, though, is how readily you're able to displace female accountability based on, well, men should just act better. That's really what you're saying. Men should just act better, and then, you know, women will come along.
That is pretty much what this woman is saying, you know, saying that the men should set the stage so then the women could have accountability, basically. And it's like, well, women should just take accountability when they make mistakes. I mean, it's just not that hard, right? People should just do that, right? And even looking at the comment underneath, the impulse control and lack of accountability is the reason why they should. No, there was another comment that said men should completely remove themselves from society and so women could take accountability, which I actually thought was pretty funny. But he's basically reiterating what she's saying, completely correct. Basically, men, until you do things how women want you to do it, we won't stop doing what we're doing, and we won't take accountability for it. It's still your fault that we're making mistakes, which is hilarious. By the way, guys, please, if you like these clips, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos.
From my perspective that I'm coming from, which I think you're either deliberately mischaracterizing or you're misunderstanding something.
I don't think I am.
Whatever the case may be, I don't feel it's an accurate description of where I'm coming from. But
it has to be the dependency. The dependency of your argument is that women are unable to change because they're fulfilling their nature. Men have to change or women cannot fulfill their nature. That the core dependency of this argument depends on women, if they're in materialistic roles, not being as detrimental as if men are. That's the whole crux of it. That women being shitheads as an is only going to change as a necessary outcome if men necessarily change. That's it. I mean, I don't know how you get around that.
So if you have wild horses that are running around, whose responsibility is it to tame them? Do you expect the horse to do it themselves? Just stop running, horses. Why aren't you stopping? Just stop running. That's bad. Don't do that. It's their nature to do that. The feminine relies on the masculine to give it form and to bring it into order. I'm not saying
so these bitches need to get corralled. These bitches need to get corralled. We need to go out. We need to go out and lasso these fucking bitches and put them. And you know what?
Oh my God, that's pretty much what she's saying. Oh my gosh, I know that probably that's making her mad because she's like he kind of continues to win with the masculine portion of this. This is hilarious.
What else we do with horses? After we lasso their asses, we put them in stables. And we give them small perimeters in which they can run. We don't want them running around doing all kinds of shit. You know what else we do?
Yes.
The horses vote? Fuck no. They're disenfranchised. You're actually giving an ontological status of women as being lesser than men. Fine. I can accept that.
But then you have to... with that characterization.
Yeah.
Like I did say in my opening statement, the masculine is ontologically superior to the feminine. And that is the natural hierarchy. However, when men abdicate that role, they do move below women in that sense. So in order to reclaim that higher role that gives them that supremacy, they have to reclaim what it is that makes them masculine in the first place, reclaim that center, that inner stillness, be the axle of the wheel, and lasso the horses. That's the whole
Sounds
point.
Like a lot like force.
It can be force, but force divorced
from
that authentic spiritual center is just tyranny. It's power, but it's
what's
not
wrong.
authority.
What's wrong with tyranny? If tyranny, I can point to you many societies which you would consider
the spiritual problem.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
And this is ultimately a spiritual
problem. If I can point to you, I agree. But if I can point to you to societies which were highly tyrannical, but the men are more reflective of this type of noose that you're presenting us, or this type of coexistence of the pure masculine form, right? Then couldn't you just make the argument that moving towards societies like that is at least that step in the right direction in order to reclaim this cycle?
No, because it's a further degradation.
Okay, well,
you do not get back. You do not get back to the center. You do not solve the spiritual crisis by going further away from it.
Let's find out if this stands up to logic. Let's find out. Is it the case then that you think that Muslim men in Muslim nations are inferior in regards to masculinity to Western men in Western nations, and tell me why?
I wouldn't say that, because I think by and large, the collective of men across the world have all degraded into this type of phallic man who is unable to exert any mastery over himself and his senses. I don't think that Western men are necessarily better or worse in that respect. I think
not better or worse.
The vices show up in different ways, but overall, you're still just dealing with men who have no self-mastery.
Okay, but that doesn't actually answer the question as to how, right? You just kind of went on this diatribe about no, they're just equally as degraded as men of the West, but you didn't actually show me how that would be or give me examples of how that would be, that they're just as or less or more, right? So that's a pretty bold claim to say. It's a bold claim.
Because she doesn't have any examples of the argument that she's making. She doesn't even really know what she's asking for. I mean, listening to her, you might even be lost in the conversation and wonder what's even going on. What is she saying? You know, what's happening? So there's really no point that she's making except the point that she asked men to be more strict with women. I do kind of feel like this is where this is almost about to go. I almost feel like she's admitting defeat, to be honest. But anyway, I thought this clip was pretty cool. You guys let me know. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.